tasked with assembling an elite team to travel through time. All your worlds are about to change.
Hey guys, Nick here, and welcome back to another Legend of Tomorrow episode review. My thoughts on tonight's episode of Legend of Tomorrow titled River of Time. And you guys might notice I'm doing another audio review for this episode. I got really sick today. I managed to do a Captain America Civil War review for you guys, but after that, I completely I feel awful right now, so I'd really rather not be on camera. But I still wanted to get this video up because, you know, I enjoy the show, so I'm going to continue to talk about it for as long as it's still good to me. So to get into my thoughts on tonight's episode, this episode, up until I would say the last 10 minutes or so, was really just okay. And this episode went more into why I think it was a mistake for this season to be anything more than 13 episodes. Because honestly, I feel like the show's really kind of starting to drag out a little bit too much. The filler episodes are coming a little more. It's just, in this episode, it ended on a really great note. I'll give it that. We finally got to see Carter with his memories back. And honestly, when Vandal Savage stabbed him, I swear to God, I rolled my eyes and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" But then when we find out that he's actually alive, it's like, okay, good. Thank God. Because I was seriously so mad that they were about to do that again, but then they said, "Oh, he's okay. So thank God for that. But honestly, after last week's episode, and the way it ended, and the way that Kendra really screwed that one up for the team and sparing Savage's life, and really preventing the season from ending right then and there, now it led to this episode where now, Vandal Savage is, manipulating the team, he's trying to get the team's heads, and the one thing I can say about this episode is Casper Crump, the actor who plays Savage, he's been a recurring, I want to say weak point, but he's been a recurring, I don't know, he just hasn't been the strongest villain that I've seen on TV, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just I would expect more from a show like this, and especially with Vandal Savage being one of the most famous and most badass characters in the DC universe. And I just feel like sometimes it's just he comes off a little too campy, sometimes a little too, I don't know. And then sometimes his utterly not non-Egyptian accent kind of takes me out of it sometimes, and that's not a bad thing. It's just I don't know. The performance hasn't always impressed me, but this episode really was a turning point for me in the way that he actually performed his part, because this week almost felt more of the chance for Savage to be the master manipulator that we know Savage to be, in the comics. And he was almost more of a Hannibal Lecter kind of character in this episode, and I thought that was pretty cool, the way he was just for the most part just stood calmly in his cell, and he was kind of playing on everyone's fears, especially with Ray, considering him and Ray romantically were kind of in the same situation, and that's where he used Ray's emotions to get the better of him, even though Ray bested him in the fight, which I thought was a really cool scene, by the way. And it really played because everyone was already the stakes were high, because the team was already kind of not trusting Rip, because even Rip admitted he would throw them under the bus to save his family, and everyone's like, well, why are we still here? Why are we still putting up with this crap? So seeing that and seeing how the team was affected, I thought that aspect of it was kind of cool and understandable. And, we finally see, everything, how it's affecting everyone. And ultimately, one of Rip's decisions leads to, Jax being affected by time radiation and his body's physically aging. So, Martin Stein is hey, I want to save you. I could die, but as long as you're okay. So he sends him back to 2016. And throughout the episode, we see what I assume is everyone's kind of their last goodbyes before they made the jump to, be on the Wave Rider in the first place. Because they never really specified what those flashbacks or flash forward, whatever they were. But it was cool kind of seeing everyone in a different place. And my favorite of all those scenes was the scene between Nyssa and Sarah. Because Nyssa, obviously, who is the daughter of Ra's al Ghul, and she played a big factor in Arrow last season, and she's been a recurring character for the last couple of seasons. I feel like the writers of Arrow really screwed with her as a character, because they forced her to marry Oliver, and and her character's obviously, like a lesbian. And when they forced her to do that, that really pissed me off and took me out of the show. I hated that. I mean, the character is awesome, but I didn't like what Arrow did to her. So seeing that and seeing her relationship with Sarah, seeing that the feelings are still there, even though it might have been in a flashback. Just seeing their chemistry was something that actually I really miss. Even though I did like seeing, Sarah and Oliver together on Arrow, I think the Nyssa and Sarah relationship is actually a healthier and better relationship. So seeing it on this show and having Sarah not fantasize about some like whitey white nurse from the 50s is better than seeing that, So seeing Nyssa was cool. But the one thing I would say that is the biggest problem in the whole episode was the whole Kendra, Ray, and Carter love triangle. That really is just, it's getting really tiring to see, but I mean, it was cool in the way that Vandal Savage was using that to manipulate Ray, but at the same time, Kendra, the writers have really screwed Kendra. They don't know what they're doing with her anymore. It really doesn't even feel like Hawkgirl anymore, which is really sad because I think Hawkgirl is one of the coolest characters in the DC universe, and she was one of the main reasons I was excited for the show. And they're screwing her over. It feels like they're forgetting that she's Hawkgirl, and all they do is like just remind you that she's immortal and that she's a barista. Like that's really all they do at this point. Like the badassness of her, like just comes and goes. Like last episode, she was a badass until she made the stupid decision of letting her emotions get the better of her and sparing Savage, and now leading to all this crap. But honestly, throughout everything in this episode, I just feel like if the whole Kendra Ray thing, now that's finally and seemingly coming to its end, I feel like it'll be better the next couple of episodes. Because I feel like, other than the Ray and Kendra thing, the show has a lot of promise. I do look forward to it for the most part. Tonight's episode was an episode that was kind of hard to get through because it wasn't the most compelling, the most story driven, but at the end of the episode, especially with, turning out that the Time Masters actually are in league with Savage, and, the Time Masters are arresting everyone from the team on the ship, and ultimately we're setting up for the last few episodes of the season, so I'm actually looking forward to that. So with that being said, I think that's going to be it for me. So if you guys like what you see here, go ahead and hit subscribe below. I do review all these, well, not all of them, but I do review Flash on Tuesdays. Obviously, Legend of Tomorrow as well on Thursdays. And like I mentioned in the beginning of this review, I recorded a spoiler-free review for the new Marvel film Captain America Civil War. So that's up on my channel. I did the unboxing for the brand new Legion of Collectors box this morning, I believe. Well, this is coming Friday morning, so it would actually be yesterday. So I have that video as well, and as well as a bunch of different movie reviews and trailer reviews and stuff on my channel, if you guys want to check that out. So give this video a thumbs up. What did you guys think of this episode? Did you guys like it? Did you guys have problems with it? Let me know in the comment section below. So yeah, that's going to be it for me. So until next time, guys, have a good one.